Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you've been throwing discs for a while, you know there are some weird discs out there, and I've got 5 of them right here, but they're not just weird, they can actually fly pretty darn good. So we're gonna go check them out. Let's go. Hey guys, Jeremy from Disc Golf Deals USA. If you've been throwing discs for a minute, you know there are some discs out there that just kind of feel and look weird, but they actually fly kind of good. I've got 5 right here that we're going to take a look at. Some are super weird, some are actually very baggable too. So let's take a look at them. First up, we're going to look at the CR from Jester Discs. Now this is formerly known as the Baobab. Numbers on this are 4113, or they might be 4013, not exactly sure. It's definitely weird. It has a nice like bead on the top of the disc, which you usually don't see that. And this thing is a fantastic disc for throwing it and getting around stuff. It just wants to go very shortly, but get around stuff. It's weird, but it works. Next up is the Alien. This is from Innova. Numbers on this are 4201. The top on it is like the old school like dog disc with these ridges on it. And then the bottom is like a normal mid-range, and it's hard too. It's not like super soft. It is totally weird, looks weird, kind of feels weird in the hand, but actually throws kind of good. So we're going to test that one out in a little bit too. Next up is the Ram. Now this is an old school Innova disc. Numbers on this are 64-14. This was kind of around in the days before we had like 12, 13 speed discs. This was like one of those like top performing like distance type discs. Does it still fly pretty good? I don't know, but we're going to test it out. Now, speaking of weird discs, one of the weirdest by far is the Groove. Numbers on the Groove are 13-6-22. It has this weird, like, underneath groove on it. That's where the name comes from. But this thing actually kind of crushes. It looks and feels weird, and it got a lot of hate out there online. But this thing will actually fly great. Now, speaking of weird discs that fly far, we're going to look at the 202 gram, not legal for sanctioned flight, but this is the Weapons of Maximum Distance, the WMD from Doomsday Discs. This is brand new disc. It's got a super wide rim. I think it's like a 16 speed disc. It's 202 grams. It's not legal for sanctioned events, but you can throw it in unsanctioned events all you want. Does it fly great? I don't know, but we're going to test them out. So let's go. All right, first up, we're going to throw the CR. This used to be the Baobab from AGL, but Jester kind of took this mold over. This is a fantastic disc for just throwing flat and getting it to hook. Doesn't matter if you're doing forearm or backhand. Look at that. It just gets to edge so quickly. And look, if you need to get around something that's less than 200 feet, that's the disc for you. Now let's stay in the 4-speed category. Let's go with the Alien. Like I said, definitely feels weird, but flies fantastic. Yeah, look how straight that is. Nice subtle fade. Yeah, fantastic throwing disc. The only weird thing about it is the way it feels. So if it feels okay in your hand, go for it. Now let's go with the Ram. Like I said, 6-speed disc. It's got a little pop top to it. Little domey guy. Let's see how this one flies. Oh, all right. In that DX plastic, I was thinking it would be kind of understable. It's got some stability on it. All right, so can't wait to throw that one again. We're just gonna kind of crank on it. I kind of babied that one a little bit. All right, now, most hated disc out there, the Groove. How does she fly? All right, not too bad. Definitely not a -2 turn on it. A lot of fade. Well, back when Paul Macbeth was with Innova, there was actually a time when he was bagging the Groove, short amount of time, but I gotta say, the way that one flew, this thing is definitely more on the overstable side. Now, let's check out the Doomsday disc. 202 grams, Weapon of Maximum Distance. Let's see if she is. Okay, definitely went straighter than I thought. Wow. I gotta say, I barely got my fingertips under that rim. That is such a huge rim, but surprisingly, went a lot straighter than I thought. So this is just a smattering of some of the weird discs I actually have on hand. If you actually have some weird discs out there that would make for a good video, Let me know in the comments. All right, now that I kind of know how these fly, we're going to do some other throws. Now, I would say if I had to pick one of these 5 to actually bag, it would definitely be the CR from Jester Discs. This one I actually did a review on the other day. If you want to check it out, it's up top. Actually, very fantastic, usable disc. It is definitely weird, feels weird, but once you get used to it, this thing has lots of uses. Let me show you with the forehand. There we go. I just love how it gets on edge so quickly, and it just wants to move. So if you're doing forehand, it just wants to move quickly this way. If you're doing backhand, it wants to get quickly this way, which if you play on woods courses, you know you got to get around stuff. Fantastic disc for that. All right, let's do another toss with the Ram. This one was surprisingly more stable than I thought. So we're going to lay it flat, give it a little bit more speed. Yeah, definitely flat. I think that got lost in the clouds there, but absolutely no turn on this disc at all. Surprisingly stable and flew pretty good. All right, now let's go with the Groove. This thing had absolutely no turn on it at all. So we're gonna give it a little anhyzer, see if we can get a full flight out of it. Wow, really late on that. A lot of stability on that guy, holy cow. Yeah, I can definitely see why that is kind of a hated disc, because flies nothing like the flight numbers, plus feels weird, 2 strikes against you. All right, now let's do a similar type of throw with this guy. Gave it pretty good anhyzer, flattened out. Huge flare skip with that big rim. Yeah, flying very similar to the Groove. Huge rim on it. It is kind of a fun disc just to have one that's like super huge, weighs a lot, but definitely, I don't know if it's going to be something that I'd put in my bag. It is usable though. All right, let's do the Alien. This time we're going to do it on forehand. I do remember when I reviewed this last time that there's a weird phenomenon with this Alien. When you throw it backhand, it flies really stable, but when you throw it forehand, it flies understable, which not a lot of discs do that. Usually it's either overstable, understable on both ways, but this one, it's like the opposite. So let me show you. So yeah, look at that. It flies so understable on forehand, but on backhand, it's just super stable. Crazy. So what makes a disc weird in the disc golf community? I gotta say, first thing is if it looks weird. If it looks weird, it's probably gonna get a little bit of hate. So if it looks weird and it feels weird, it's definitely get the double hate. And I gotta throw another category in there, flight numbers that are just nowhere near what it actually is. Just like the Groove. Like if you're telling us the Groove's actually gonna get like a -2, and then you go out and throw it, and then it's just a 0.4, that's gonna get some triple hate. So if it looks weird, feels weird, and the flight numbers are just way off, good luck. It's gonna be a weird disc for sure. So if you're a disc golf manufacturer out there and you want your disc to stay out of the super weird category, hit up some people that review discs on a regular basis, get them to give you some good feedback and provide you with some flight numbers that are actually legitimate. All right, let's do one last set of throws. All right, there's the Alien. Look how straight that goes. Nice, solid finish. Yeah, it's a fantastic backhand disc, just super stable. Doesn't get a lot of turn to it, but when you do forehand, I mean, go back and watch it. That thing just turned the whole way. Super weird. All right, now let's do one throw with this, and we're gonna put a lot of anhyzer on this. I wanna show you guys how quickly it goes to flat and then gives you a nice solid finish. Yeah, look at that corkscrew. Loving that all day long. What a fun disc. All right, now to close out, we got a 16 speed, we got a 6 speed, and then we got the Groove. All 3 of these are basically flying about the same distance so far with my arm speed. So let's see which one of these will go the furthest. Let's start with the Ram. All right, we're going for maximum distance. Not a lot of turn on that. Man, that thing is just super stable. All right, Groove, can you beat that? A lot of anhyzer. Trying to get a full flight out of this guy. Come on, get to the fence. Get to the fence. Ooh, all right, that's the winner so far. Doomsday, can we beat that? Really impressed with how straight that goes. All right, I think it beat the Ram. Not sure it beat the Groove. Let's go find out. And the winner is the Groove. I gotta say, maybe that's why Paul Macbeth actually bagged that and he didn't bag any of these ones. Well, this is kind of a fun video. If you have some recommendations of some other weird discs, let me know in the comments. And if you're looking to get one of these 200-gram weapons of maximum distance by Doomsday, we got some of these over at Disc Golf Deals USA. If you're looking for some of these other ones, you can check them out in the used bin, except for this puppy. Jester Discs has a cool little proto pack that you can pick these up with now. And then once we get a stock run, we'll have those at Disc Golf Deals USA also. All right, well, if you're looking to get any other disc golf equipment, head on over to Disc Golf Deals USA. Till I see you next time, peace out.